And now we're going to move on to RoseAnn Salanitri, who is an assembly candidate in District 24. Let's hear it for RoseAnn.
Well, I can tell you I am the product of a public school system. And when I went to public school, it was an excellent system. And the town I was in wasn't even rated the best town for education in my county. Well, I have 2 children, and they're 16 years apart, and there's nothing in between. So when my youngest entered the public school system in the 1990s, I couldn't believe the change I saw, and let me tell you, it was not good change. So I began a quest to figure out what was happening in our country, and by the time 1999 rolled around, I had decided someone in our district had to start a private school. And being a Christian, it became a private Christian school. And against all odds, we were able to do that. So I have a different perspective here from most people. As a mother, as a frustrated mother, and as the founder of a Christian school. And I have to tell you, some of the legislation that we're seeing can really be great legislation, but it needs to be tweaked a little bit from my perspective. And I'll tell you why. We want our children to have a choice. We want to have a choice as parents. Right now we have 2 choices. We could send our children to public school, or we could send them to private school. The problem is, we're going to be paying twice if we do that, because we pay taxes for public school, and then we're going to have to pay again for the private schools. So it's double problems for us. So everything I've seen here today addresses funding for education. And I have to tell you, money is only part of the problem, and legislation is only part of the problem. The bigger problem lies in the curriculum and the standards that our children are being exposed to. We have to do better. We must do better. Now, how can we approach this problem just with a little bit of a difference? And I have to tell you, our IRS laws allow us to donate money to private schools and allow us to donate money to public schools, and you will get a tax deduction. That is not the issue. We can have an opportunity scholarship or an opportunity fund, as my school calls it, and you can get a tax deduction. What we have to do to change things up, in addition to what's being proposed here, is to market a program that actually gives incentives for people to donate money into the private schools. And that could be done very easily. We don't have to regulate these private schools. They already jump through enough hoops as it is. If you tell them you want to participate in this program and you have to do more financial acrobats, or you have to hire teachers that don't believe the same values that you have, they're simply not going to participate. And you're not going to have the choice you should have. But how can we do this? Tell people who donate. Now, in our school, we raised seed money alone, $160,000 the first year. People get it. They know we need another choice, and they are willing to put up their money for that. But when you allow private businesses and private individuals to donate their money to the school of their choice, there is accountability that arises between the donor and the school. They're not going to keep donating their money to a school that's not performing. And when you allow parents to have the choice of which school they're sending their children to, that creates accountability. And you don't have to make any more regulations than that. You don't have to tell the state, you have to show us this, you have to show us that, you have to show us the other thing. The parents know if the school is performing, and if that school is not performing, they're going to take their children out. So let's create a program based on incentives for donors, where they're going to get maybe $1.50 untaxed deductions for every dollar they contribute to a private school or to a public school, and give them that tax incentive, and also promote the program so that they know it exists. A lot of people don't even know that program exists. What you do is you give the parents a choice by lowering the tuition costs for that private school, and you give the donors a choice on which school they donate to, and you're going to create competition between the schools. So you're going to elevate the level of academics in the public schools as well. Now, we need to do that in addition to all the other things, because we are tax burdened. I'm a member of a Tea Party, and that means taxed enough already, and God knows we sure are. So we need to reduce the tax burden for parents, but we need to be very careful about the legislation we propose. And the first rule in any legislation should be the same as in medical. It should be first, do no harm. And we have to think things through. So when we create an opportunity fund, we have to be sure that that can be used for private schools and for religious schools as well, of the parent's choice. Thank you.